Sup? Oh, I just wanted to say real quick while I'm drinking this shot that I made this Gmail address just for this talk. So, you know, if you're going to try and hack my Gmail, there's nothing good in there except things that you guys email me. And go ahead, you can contact me if you want. Let me drink. Okay, so what's up? The name of my talk is Ripping Media Off the Wire. It's a step-by-step guide. If you guys have all the tools installed on your laptop, you can actually just follow along and try and do this right now. Otherwise, you know, if you miss something, then my slides will be available online. You can follow along then if you, like, forget or something. All right, so let's get started. First of all, who the hell am I? I'm Honey. These are my credentials here. I'm a network administrator. I've been for 4 years, and I'm also a professor at John Jay College, an adjunct professor. That's in New York City, in case you didn't hear my accent already. I'm also a research assistant for a ballistic research grant, and I'm about to study forensic computing masters in the fall. And yeah, I got a CIS in electronic engineering, computer networking. All right, I got some skills. I got some skills. So there you go. That's who I am. What's the scope of this talk? This talk is going to walk you through how to download MP3s from MySpace and from YouTube, and we're also going to talk about the lack of security in protected streaming. All right, so the tools that I use for this, they're all GNU tools. wget, Firefox, an add-on for Firefox called HTTP Fox, which is awesome. RTMP Dump, and this converter that I've used, there's other converters, but this one's called FLV to MP3s. Now, there's DMCAs right now on the RTMP Dump, and also when I originally wrote the white paper for this, like convert FLV to MP3, there was a website you could download it. It's gone. The website is gone. So, you know, I just suspect that there's a DMC takedown on that as well. But you guys are hackers. I'm sure you can find the tools. So, just a disclosure about this talk. Because this presentation describes methods to download protected materials. And I'm doing this talk in an effort to raise, you know, the lack of security in protected streaming. All the music that I'm using in my presentation, I actually got permission from the artists themselves. So that was pretty cool. And any illegal use of the methods by, you know, any of you guys, like, I'm not responsible for that. And a legal statement. This presentation does break the terms of service for YouTube, MySpace, the Digital Millennium Act, and but that's only if you download copyrighted materials. You know, and not everything on YouTube is copyrighted. If somebody has a video of their dog rolling over and over, you know, that's not protected. So if you decide to download, you know, Jay-Z's, you know, protected media, well, then you're breaking the law. Okay. Before we begin, there's a couple of, I don't know, questions that I just want to, like, answer ahead of time. Some people are like, what is the point of this? I use LimeWire. What is the point of this? I have a Usenet account. Or what is the point of this? I use, you know, different converters. But there's a couple good points about why this is interesting. Like the third-party plugins, they're not always reliable or kept up to date on changes. Okay? So like Grease Monkey, I think their last update was like in April. All right, so if MySpace or YouTube, if they change their implementation, you know, on their servers, then like, you know, you have to wait for that plugin to be updated in order to use, you know, use the plugin. They're not always updated that fast. For people who like use online websites in order to convert stuff, like how do you know that, you know, that third party is not injecting stuff into your MP3s or media? You're trusting someone else. And, you know, on LimeWire, like, do you have an MD5 sum on, like, the MP3? No, you don't, because you're obviously, like, pirating it So you don't have the MP3 already to check. So, and this presentation is not intended to encourage piracy, even though I'm talking about it. But it's more about the dissemination of data that is supposed to be, protected streaming, and it's not really protected. So, all right. So let's just get some definitions out the way. MySpace uses the RTMP protocol. So what is that? Actually, they're using RTMPE protocol. But what is that? It's a real-time messaging protocol. It's a proprietary protocol by Adobe. There's 3 variations of RTMP. RTMP itself, which runs over port 1935. RTMP-T, which is used to traverse firewalls. And RTMP-S, which uses SSL. Now, the protocol that we're interested in from MySpace, RTMPE, which is the encrypted real-time messaging protocol, and it's a proprietary protocol of Macromedia for streaming video and DRM. It supposedly allows secure transfer of data without SSL, and the reason why they implemented this is, SSL is slow, but RTMPE is supposed to solve that problem. It's supposed to be more easy to implement. Okay, so I went to Adobe's website and I just took a couple of clips that they have available on their website. Because basically, Adobe is recommending everyone to use RTMPE, and they're saying, that it's providing protection from stream ripping, which my demonstration is going to show it isn't. So yeah, I'm embarrassed for them. This is also from Adobe's website, where they're talking about, they're recommending RTMPE more. And they're saying it's robust. Okay. And the client picture there, we have the server, and it's, talking to the client, and then, then it's like playing it in the client's player. But like the tool that we're going to use, which is RTMP Dump, RTMP Dump basically acts like a proxy. It sits in between, it captures all these requests from, the servers, and it does the handshaking between, the servers and the client, and then it compiles the whole file, and then it passes the file down to the client. So that's what I'm talking about. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Let's see. What RTMP does. RTMP Dump does. This is from the man of RTMP Dump. So this is an ACP server that accepts requests that consist of RTMP Dump parameters. It then, does the handshaking, and then it passes the file down to the client. And this is also just from Adobe's website, them talking about DRM. So they're describing DRM there, that it's 2 elements, encryption, and access control. Okay, now that we've got like the definitions out the way, let's just see how to do this. Okay, so first, how to get MP3 files from MySpace. The first step is you have to install HTTP Fox, the Firefox plugin. You use Firefox. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to start HTTP Fox, and then you're going to browse to your MySpace page. So for my example, this band that gave me like the consent to use their stuff, it's a local Brooklyn band. They're like not that well known. So they're more than happy to give me, consent to have more publicity for their music. So you can see at the bottom, HTTP is started. It's capturing traffic there at the bottom. And you can see, I'm playing music there. All right, the next step is you have to traverse all this captured traffic. So I tried to find something unique about the URL that I captured so that you can always find it. So the unique string that I found was just if you search for get song, then it'll just return one URL. And the get song is case sensitive. The next thing you have to do is in HTTP Fox at the bottom, there's a couple different options. So the one option is content, and if you browse through the XML file, you'll see a path for an MP3. So you copy that MP3 path. And please notice that it's RTMP, and then the URL, .mp3. Just notice that for a second. Okay, so the next thing you have to do is download Rtmp Dump if you don't have it already. And here's the fun part. So they're kind of tricky. It looks like it's RTMP, but it's not really RTMP, it's RTMPE. So if you just change the URL to RTMPE and then run that command in Rtmp Dump, you're going to download the file. So that's the syntax down there for Rtmp Dump. It's the executable minus R, because you're downloading like an RTMP stream. The only other option I think for Rtmp Dump is minus host. Then the modified captured URL, and then the output of your flu name. I mean your FLV name. Okay, so here's my modified URL. You remember before I said notice in the URL that I copied, it said RTMP. I changed it here to RTMPE. I don't know if you could see that well, but I have it highlighted in red. So now when I execute this command, it's going to download the file. Anyone notice anything weird right here? Do you remember like the URL that we copied? Any hackers notice anything weird? I'll let you think on that for a second. All right, so I run the command, and it starts downloading. Yay! And then now my downloaded has completed. Okay, so this is what you could have noticed, is that the URL that I copied from HTTP Fox, the RTMP URL, was a .mp3, right? So why is my output an FLV? Why am I doing that? You hackers could have noticed that. Like, why don't I just download it as an MP3? The reason why you don't download it as an MP3 is because when you do download it as an MP3, the sound quality is really bad. So if you use this converter to convert, if you download it as a FLV and then convert it to this, the sound quality is perfect. So I use this converter, convert it, and now I have my file. So do you want to see that in a video? Yeah, let's go for it. There's no porn, sorry. Typing. All right, so I'm just Googling for their MySpace page, started HTTP Fox, started HTTP Fox. Now I'm going to browse to their MySpace page. There you can see all the traffic's coming through. It's a lot of traffic, every single icon and thing that's on the page. Now I'm going to start the song playing. Now I have to find the URL in all of this traffic. So I'm going to do a search for get song, but remember it's case sensitive. Now I'm clicking on the content tab so I can go through the XML file. Look, they're running Microsoft IIS 6. Thank you, HTTP Fox. All right, I'm copying the URL. All right, so someone asked me, they're like, why can't you wget the file if you have the URL? So I do what you